Mm-hmm.
So there was some salary cap news this week. I don't know if a lot of Pistons fans caught this. This comes from Bobby Marks, who is a ESPN front office just expert or an insider, if you want to call it that. So this is a tweet from him. He says, to no surprise, NBA teams were notified that the salary cap for next season in 2025-2026 is expected to increase 10% from the past season. Sources tell ESPN. The current projections is the same that they were the same that were given to the teams in the offseason. So the current salary cap this year was a 140 million.6. So it's going up to 154 million.6. Then you get the luxury tax at 187, first apron 195, and second apron 207. So I did want to kind of bring this up because I looked at the Pistons cap space and their expected cap space is around 24.6 million. And there's been a lot of fans. I'm sure you've had these conversations with Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and now even Dennis Schroeder. So you see like this expected cap to go up over $14 million. Do you think that there's a possibility that this team could maybe be an over the cap team if they want to keep everyone?
Yeah, I think that's something that worries me about them. I mean, that's one of the tough problems about having such good chemistry with everybody in the locker room, because when somebody goes, you know, how they respond is going to be the question. So, um, looking at the situation for Malik Beasley, he obviously wants to stay. It's not going to be cheap to bring him back. Tim Hardaway Jr. also, he's going to be a free agent as well. Like there's going to be some tough conversations that they're going to have. Whether they're going to be over the cap, it all depends on how like friendly they want to be. I mean, I think even Jay Ivey, I think, is up for an extension as well. Dern, I think they're going to have conversations with. Um, it could be a tight situation for them. I mean, it all just kind of depends on how flexible the guys want to be. I mean, obviously you want to take advantage of your market because you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those I don't want to rule it out either way. It could be possible because granted, I don't think it's a great idea to run it back with the exact same team you had. It does help to bring in some new talent and help booster that up. But Trajan, he's definitely got some tough questions to answer. I think it could be either way, to be honest.
Yeah, so I have Spot Track pulled up. If you guys haven't used Spot Track, I definitely use it. It's probably my favorite website in terms of just having like accurate like cap sheets and stuff like that. So for the Pistons right now, they currently have negative $30 million in cap space because they have cap holds. So
Mm-hmm.
the cap holds they have are Tim Hardaway Jr., Dennis Schroeder, Malik Beasley, Lindy Waters, Paul Reed, and Donis Jenkins, and they have an incomplete roster charge on their books, which I think is because of the Paul Reed stuff, which 2.5 million is 2.5 million, but that's where the cap holds are. You do have bird rights to Tim Hardaway Jr. You have early bird rights for Dennis Schroeder, which I think can be kind of sneakily underrated. Non-bird rights to Malik Beasley, so he'll be a unrestricted free agent. So you're going to have some probably competition with other teams
Yep.
in the NBA. Lindy Waters, you do have his bird rights, and then you have non-bird rights with Paul Reed. Don't really know if you want to bring him back, and then you have two-way rights with Donis Jenkins. So it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, the Pistons could theoretically let everyone go but Malik Beasley and kind of free up that cap space that way, which I think the guys in the front office do a very good job because like the Paul Reed stuff, I remember people like crashing out and freaking out when we let him go, and then they reconstructed it to save cap space so they could go out and get a Dennis Schroeder. Like I feel like they're like 3 steps ahead, and fans are just like, oh, that's why they did it. Like it's honestly crazy.
Yeah, Trajan's done a really good job. I think he understands that things have accelerated quite a bit. I think he understands the timeline of their winning expectations and a lot of these roster decisions that maybe he could have slept on possibly for a year, maybe two. He don't really have that at this point. I think he understands that things are moving a little faster than expected. I think guys are sitting here ready to win, and like you don't want to go from a winning situation to fall out of the play in tournament next season. I think he understands how important that is to these guys right now. I definitely can see a lot of the names that you mentioned, guys that'll probably be guys that they're probably waving goodbye to. Um, but the playoffs is going to explain a lot. I think really if they're able to push a team, obviously depending on who they play, but if they're able to push the Knicks or the Bucks or the Pacers to 6-7 games, that's going to show that, maybe you might want to look around and try to add somebody else, or maybe you're comfortable with just finding that one other piece to just attach on to some of the other foundational guys. But if they get swept, then, maybe some tougher conversations are going to be had on how they need to be reconstructing things. But yeah, I think the playoffs are going to determine a lot in terms of how they're going to address this upcoming offseason.
Yeah, I did want to bring it to fans' attention. I don't really know if they were aware that the cap space went up. I don't even think fans are aware that the Pistons actually have negative cap space right now with all the cap
Right.
holds. But those can go away within a week of free agency. Honestly, like, they could just
Right.
renounce the rights to everybody. I did actually go down the rabbit hole with Malik Beasley for fans that are interested in that. So Malik Beasley, the biggest contract he ever signed was with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it was 4 for 60, so $15 million a year.
Mhm.
And I was having a conversation with one of our subscribers in our group chat that we have, and I was saying I think Malik gets a 3-year deal, and I think it's in between maybe 30 to 45 million. Like I think that's like where the price point for him would be. Uh, and I think if you look at it, 3 years to me is you get him 29, 30, 31, still in his prime. And, if he produces, maybe you want to bring him back for another contract.
Mhm.
But I know a lot of fans have been really locked in with Malik Beasley for a majority of the season. I get it. I understand it. But those are the type of like contracts I'd be looking at, like anywhere from like a 3, possibly 4-year deal for a guy like that has really made an impact this season.
Yeah, he's been too valuable. I mean, you could argue he's been probably. I saw Corey Woods tweet this. I think you could make a argument that he's maybe the best value free agent signing this season. Like nobody expected him to be as dangerous as he's been. One of the best shooters in basketball. A 3-point specialist. Even his ability, like he had a lot of drives yesterday against the Cavs where he's got that like little floater down. Being able to absorb contact against bigger defenders and still finish strong. Free throws are coming together a lot better. He had a little struggles with that early in the year. Yeah, he's been absolutely unbelievable for this basketball team. The situation definitely is not going to make it a little easy in terms of
Mhm.
how they round out this roster, but yeah, that's probably going to be the toughest conversation, whether between him, Jaden Ivey. Like I think those are the two top names of probably the toughest decisions they're going to have to make in terms of the next couple of years and where they go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're extension eligible, Jaden
Right.
Ivey and Jalen Duren. I mean, you could let them just hit restricted free agency maybe when you have a little bit more cap
Right.
and give them extensions that way, which they could possibly do. I mean, we've been talking about contract extensions like all year. Trajan and company could say, you know what, we don't have the cap space this year, fellas, but we still like you here long term, and we can have those conversations going into not this summer, but next summer. You never really know. But
Mhm.
did want to bring that to the fans' attention.